Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman with you on this Wednesday. We got new Caleb Williams information. We got our friend Kevin Clark joining the show today. And happy Beast Day to all who celebrate like myself.
I heard you have a printed copy on the way.
It's been ordered. A little disappointed in the store I ordered it from. Thought it'd be ready by now, but, you know, we'll have to wait till after the show.
Hoge went printed copy, Dane Brugler. Just know that. This guy is not playing around. When you put out the Beast...
There's no other way to do it.
There's other ways to do it, but you go print. It was a great start to my day when I walked in here, and within 5 seconds, you let me know that there was a printed copy on the way.
Yeah.
And I called you a nerd, and I think you got, like, minorly offended. But I don't think, by the way, I don't think you're ready for today's show. Even though you have a printed copy of the Beast along, you have not gone through enough adversity in your life to be able to do this show today. I think your adversity level to get here has been,
first of all,
minimal.
Anybody who has to drive on the inbound Kennedy coming in to do this show has been through plenty of adversity before every show.
Nah, you got a Hoge mobile, you got all the podcasts to listen to. It's not enough adversity. You need to be coming here on 2 buses and a train without a vehicle. That would be enough adversity.
I have to sit next to you. That's a lot of adversity.
That's a thrill for you every day. You love it. Not enough adversity.
When this show ends every day, I'm like, man,
that is true.
Think about how much adversity.
This is an adversity show.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest. We are going to discuss this. So there was this viral video with Greg McElroy, who was doing an interview with Kevin Clark, who does a great job. This is Football is his podcast. Kevin's going to join us a little bit to discuss all this. And just to tease it for now, I felt like it was a overall decent conversation, decent point that was trying to be made. Mm-hmm. And then one of the pieces of evidence being used to make that point was not really accurate. And then we saw Caleb Williams retweet it with a full list of his adversity resume, which we'll have all for you here in the next segment. But we want to start the show today, first of all, by telling you to please, if you're not already,
please
hit that subscribe button.
Please.
Maybe you're new here. Maybe you're checking out the show for the first time. Maybe you're just a long-time viewer who hasn't spread the word. Maybe. Send the link off to a friend. Tell them to subscribe. We are only a little less than 500 subscribers away from 54,000 and just 15 days away from the NFL draft. Hit the subscribe button and like the show. We appreciate you doing that. It helps us grow the show. Remember, draft party coming up. We will tell you more about that in a little bit. And our trip to London. Got more info on that as well. So check all that out, allchgo.com/events. Thursday night sold out for the draft party. Friday night tickets available. I was just a couple hours ago working on a couple things for Friday night. Trying to put some wheels in motion to make it even better than it already is with Dalton and the Sheriffs. Dalton apparently joining the show.
Dalton will be joining the show. He goes by Scully. That's my guy, and I look forward to getting to know him even in greater detail. Like to become actual friends with my guy. And also shout out, as you mentioned, the London part. For the early people that have put down the deposit, thank you. I'm not going to shout out your names right now because I haven't been given the opportunity to do that, but we got some early buyers, so it's awesome.
And I got more information on some of the specifics with that coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. So in the meantime, though, before we bring Kevin Clark on, so the Beast, what is the Beast? Maybe you didn't understand what we were just talking about a couple minutes ago. That is, of course, Dane Brugler from The Athletic. He spends his entire year doing one thing, and that is thousands and thousands and thousands of words on every single draft prospect in this draft. He goes down to D2, D3. An unbelievable amount of research goes into it, and it all comes out about 2 weeks before the draft, which is where we're at now, and it's all available to you if you are an Athletic subscriber, and it's pretty much the best resource that anybody in the media, any fans, whoever can really get all their information for the draft in one place. And I say that having spent months and months on our own Bears 100, which I still encourage you to go check out, and all our CHGO diehards have access to that. But let's be honest here. What Dane does, he spends his entire year on this stuff, and it's phenomenal, and it's an assist to all of us as well.
I mean, if you haven't read it, I'll just give you a brief snippet of one thing that I came across today. When Project X was in high school, he went to the bathroom, and it didn't go well. But he called up his mother, and she got him the best coach possible. And after that, he was able to – I mean, he has detail – like the details that this guy uncovers.
Was that a real one, or was that –
No, I made that one up.
Okay.
But the point,
It's like, who is this?
but the point is that was so ridiculous, and you believe that it could possibly be –
Oh, I believe it could be in there.
Because it literally could be in there.
Could be.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
This guy's insane. When he walked around the corner – his sophomore year, he ran into ex-coach from this way, and he started working with him 3 days a week at 6:30 to 8:30 on footwork and other flexibility issues. I mean, he does. It's impressive. Dane, you're the GOAT. Congratulations.
So I knew that even though we've done so much work on Caleb Williams, we've been talking about him for months and months and months. We know he's going to be a Chicago Bear because Dane is Dane. We knew we were going to have some new information in here. Almost everything I'm about to tell you here is new. Some of it's not, but maybe it's just a little bit more detailed. Regardless, wanted to share some of this stuff with you because it's interesting, and we all are trying to learn as much as we can about Caleb Williams, the future Bears quarterback. So this is all courtesy of Dane Brugler in the Beast today. Didn't know this one. Caleb Williams in Pop Warner football earned the nickname Bobby Boucher from Waterboy, of course. Sandler's movie. Because of his athleticism and physicality, and he was playing up multiple levels at that point. So Bobby Boucher.
They were screaming Bobby Boucher at Caleb Williams. You could literally, I don't know what that we should do for the Hall of Fame game, and the first time that Caleb comes out of the field, maybe it'll be that game, maybe it'll be the next preseason game, whatever. But there's got to be something Bears fans can do to honor Caleb Williams with his Bobby Boucher childhood.
Everybody, they sell those jerseys.
Right.
I've seen them. Yeah.
That'd be an easy play, but I think we can go even better. But that's a hell of a compliment for young Caleb.
We've heard about the plan. Teddy Greenstein had it in his book to Quarterback Dads about when Caleb, I think he had it when, so we're talking age 10, 11 here. Dane says it was age 10. The plan was what his dad, Carl Williams, started put together for him when he decided, I want to be great. I want to be the best quarterback, whatever. The plan, starting at age 10, I'm trying to think about this because my son turns 10 in 2 months, 3 months.
I was going to say, 10-year-olds, you're in trouble because people are going to read this, and now you're going to have psycho dads all over the place. You're 10. You will create a plan right now to get as far as you can go, period. I'm not going to take anything less.
Well, we're living in a different world than Caleb Williams and Carl Williams right now because my alarm went off at 5 this morning. I got up to go to the gym, and it was like 5:15, and I could have sworn I heard my son upstairs, and I was like, that MFer better go back to bed right now. Not Caleb Williams. By the way, James was not awake. I think I was hearing things. I think I wasn't awake. I went up there prepared to send him to bed, and he was asleep. Or he was playing me really well, which we're going to discuss when I get home. Regardless, Caleb Williams was on a different plan than James Hoge, that's for sure. Age 10, sessions with sports psychologists, specialized diets, and 5:30 a.m. workouts.
You're 10. 10. That's a fourth grader.
Yeah.
I mean, if I go back in time, I actually think that Craig Bondi, Jesse Kriz, those guys, they were in there. They were probably doing the same thing. I don't know what happened to them, but you remember those kids in fourth grade that like had it. Their hair was always combed. They had the clean clothes, good shoes. Somehow could make a layup with their left hand and the right hand. Could dribble well. You know what I'm talking about?
We had an excellent player on our basketball team this year that could,
Yeah. Some kids, they just have it.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams was that kid.
Caleb was probably more than that kid, obviously.
Yeah.
I didn't know this one, so we knew that we had the offense coordinator from Gonzaga College High School on last week. Go back and check that out. Caleb's high school OC, who's now at Libertyville. But Dane had this. Caleb's family actually rented an apartment that overlooked Gonzaga's football field.
That's, what's the word I'm looking for? Psychotic.
Maybe it was a nice apartment.
We're gonna get an apartment. We're moving to where you're going to high school, and it's going to overlook the football field, because when you wake up in the middle of the night, you will stare at that field, and you will be thinking about what you're going to do on that field.
Or it was, okay, go to school. Your commute is 5 steps.
And by the way, your commute to school is 5 steps.
He's waking up at 5:30 in the morning. 5 in the morning.
Shout out Carl Williams.
Could you imagine if your parents lived next to your school?
I will be watching you on that field. If you ever walk back to the huddle, it's going to be a problem. You sprint back to the huddle. That's what goes on.
See, now this is what, now you're taking it too far. You're going.
I'm taking it too far. The high school apartment overlooked the
because
pool.
every information we have is that Carl stays out of it. Never interferes with the coaching or anything like that.
That's until we got to the apartment overlooking the field.
Okay, so now you're a conspiracy theorist again. Here we go.
I mean, I'm not. Hey,
All
listen, Carl did a hell of a job. I love my dad. Fred Carman's the greatest. I wish Carl was my dad.
All right. His NIL deals included Beats by Dre, Mercedes, Neutrogena, PlayStation, and Topps.
Oof, that's big.
What kind of deals you got going?
Yeah, so many deals. I paid $4 for this coffee. It's not good.
Come on, you should have a Neutrogena deal with that hair you have.
I mean, this is good hair.
Look at you today. You actually used a comb.
Nope. That's not true.
The Caleb Cares Foundation, focusing on combating bullying and addressing mental health. You got anything?
Carm Cares. I'm working on it.
You want to complain about that one?
No, Carm Cares. I'm working on Carm Cares to just be like Caleb.
Anybody who is working hard to combat bullying is
that's good.
Good in my mode for sure. His teammates would call the scramble drill baller mode. That's when Caleb went into baller mode.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude's a baller.
All right.
Straight up.
I got a few more for you that I'm going to save because we're going to have Kevin Clark on here in a minute. But so a couple more, little tease for you there. We got a few more on Caleb Williams I think you're going to like from the Beast. In the meantime, want to make sure you know about True Fan Travel. Made that big announcement we've been teasing for a while. True Fan Travel is your passport to the world of sports. Over 8,000 fans traveling over 146 trips, and we have one planned for you because their motto is don't just watch the game, live it. You get to do that with us coming up this fall as we're going to London. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to True Fan. A lot of Bears fans are wondering about this right now. They're wondering when the hell is the game? I want to book my trip. I want to make sure I got my flight. All you got to do right now, if you want to come with us, they're going to help take care of everything. You just got to go to truefantravel.com. And you can put down a deposit. The deposit is fully refundable. And when we have more details, like starting with when the game actually is, there's going to be different options that includes flights to London, 4 to 5-star hotel accommodations close to all the action. There's a welcome event. There's going to be a private boat cruise.
Wow.
How about that?
Am I invited to that? That's big.
You are, and an all-inclusive tailgate party close to the stadium, game tickets, obviously. So all these different things you can package up yourself is my understanding. So we understand we got fans that already live in Europe that watch this show. They don't need a flight necessarily. All you got to do is you put your deposit down. It secures your spot now. And then once we get to the details of what you specifically need, wherever you are in the world, then you'll be able to narrow it down. And if for any reason that your total comes in, like let's say you just buy a ticket to one of the events and it ends up being way cheaper than what the deposit is, then you'll get refunded that difference. So don't worry about it. All the deposit does right now is secures your spot with us, and you can figure out all the details later. And, of course, you'll be with us here at the CHGO team. We're going to have a fun time.
And shout out to CD1 Price Cleaners, the lowest prices where customers save over 30% of their dry cleaning bill by switching to CD1. Other cleaners, different prices for each garment. They do not do that at CD1. One low price for every garment, and the fast turnaround is one of the best things. Same day, next day. They send you a text when it's ready. There is no better cleaners than CD1 Price Cleaners. Thank you. Visit chgo.cd1.com. There is a link in the description, so check it out right there. Once there, you can pick up an in-store coupon or online pickup, delivery coupon options, all available for you. Dry cleaning, wash and fold laundry, blankets and comforts, tailoring and alterations, leather cleaning, area rug cleaning, literally everything you need. CD1 Price Cleaners. Big guest right now. Let's go.
Yes, Kevin Clark. Last time we talked to him was in Las Vegas at the Super Bowl. Joins us now. If you haven't checked it out already, you need to. This is Football Podcast. It's a must-listen for any football fan. Does a great job with it.
Dude has a chip on his shoulder. Look at him.
Yeah, look at him. He always.
I haven't been invited to London. That's a chip on my shoulder. You guys weren't like, I want to go on a river cruise with you, and now I'm a little upset about it. I'm going to get 10 years in the NFL out of this.
See, there you go. Now, exactly. Now, more ready for the interview. Exactly right. And you should have been invited, Kevin. You're absolutely. I appreciate that chip on the shoulder. Whatever you can turn into a chip is how you get places, Hoge.
Look, this discussion yesterday that kind of went viral. I mean, it did. When Caleb Williams is responding to something on he hasn't done that with us yet. We talk about him nonstop every day, Kevin. So congrats to that. You get Caleb Williams retweeting and putting out his adversity resume to Greg McElroy. So, by the way, let me just start with this. Greg McElroy, I think, is great. I think especially when it comes to quarterbacks, he's an excellent game analyst. And I think that this was – I'm going to let you set it up since you're the one that did the interview and talked to him. But to me, this was like, in high school when we had to write those papers, you'd have your thesis, and like the thesis was good, but maybe like your evidence A was good, evidence B was good, and then evidence C just didn't quite necessarily hit all the way. I feel like that's what happened to Greg on this one.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Greg necessarily on that. So just so everybody knows, so Greg came on my show yesterday and said that he really likes Caleb Williams as a prospect. He's the first quarterback off the board. All of the stuff that everybody's been saying over the past couple of months. He's obviously extremely familiar with the college football landscape, and that's what the show was about. It's about the quarterbacks and ranking 1 through 3, basically. And he went Caleb Williams 1, Jaden Daniels 2, Drake May 3. And he had nice things to say about all of them, including Caleb. And then he kind of pivoted at the end and said if there was one concern he has about Caleb, it's that he hasn't had any adversity in his career, came in as a 5-star guy, was behind Spencer Rattler for half a season, and then obviously was handed the Oklahoma job and then transferred Lincoln Riley to USC. And that even when USC had a mediocre season like they did last year, that wasn't necessarily pinned on Caleb Williams because they had an awful defense and everyone kind of knew what the keys were to improving it, and it wasn't getting better quarterback play. That was what Greg was saying. So fast forward to a couple hours later, Caleb took issue with that, listed the points of adversity that he had, and I felt like these were just guys exchanging ideas. I don't think anybody was making it personal. I don't think Caleb, I haven't talked to Greg today, but I don't think Greg is going to be upset that Caleb said that. I just think that it's Caleb making his case and that, hey, I have had that kind of stuff. And I think that everybody is different. When we talk about Mahomes, yeah, he's motivated by having a bunch of teams having passed on him, including the Chicago Bears. He said that, right? But if he was the second overall pick and did go to the Bears, he'd find something else to be motivated by. I think guys who want to be motivated can find motivation. They can be self-starters. So I think it's an internal thing. I don't think anybody is necessarily 100% correct here. Greg was an amazing guest with amazing takes, and I totally understand where he's coming from, and I also understand where Caleb was coming from.
Do you have a favorite in this kind of region, if you will? Like I spent about a half hour this morning just watching different Kobe Bryant moments on, how he transformed himself from the worst player who didn't score any points when he was 10 to 12. He's like, it motivates me to look at it. And then you look at, I've already seen in the comments people are like, I took that personally. Like the Jordan part is huge from The Last Dance and everything else. I don't know if you have a favorite for this, Kevin, because you've talked to a lot of these guys.
I mean, they find it everywhere, man. They find it everywhere, and it doesn't matter. I remember hearing a story years ago when Urban Meyer was had that Gators team playing Ohio State, and they were big underdogs because nobody remembers what that matchup was supposed to be in retrospect. But I remember Urban Meyer as motivation was like, "We're playing in the Cardinal Stadium, and they painted it red for Ohio State." And it's like, no, what are you talking about? But it worked on whomever, Chris Leak or whoever it was. These guys are going to find motivation. Caleb Williams. I mean, I had people in my comments yesterday with a pretty good point, which is maybe Greg McElroy is now the chip on Caleb Williams' shoulder. Maybe this is football has given Caleb Williams the ammo that was needed for him to get through a couple of workouts today. You know, I've asked guys about that a little bit. Dominic Foxworth is a good friend of mine. I've asked him, hey, what do you find motivation in when it's July 3rd and nobody's watching you and you're just doing your last sprint alone? And he said a lot of times it's, my family's life can change if I do 10 more sprints. You know, my family's life can change if I get the third cornerback job instead of the fourth cornerback job. It's that kind of thing. So I don't necessarily think it even has to be like I took that personally, Michael Jordan thing, or you know, icing out Isaiah Thomas or whatever it is. It can be very small things like, hey, I need an outdoor kitchen. And that was the one thing I did a Vrabel story last year, and he talked about, you know, he played, and at one point he was on the roster bubble, and he said that one of the biggest motivating factors that coaches normally don't want to go to is money. And you say, hey, you're going to be able to support your family if you do this one specific role in special teams. And so I think, you know, there's 53 guys on our roster every single time. In every single market, and all of them find different ways to take that extra lap when it's hot, take that extra rep, take that extra weight room out.
You know, and that's why I think the discussion you guys were having on your show was completely valid and super interesting. I also think it's part like did we know? I mean, I guess in hindsight we probably should have known. Like, did Jordan have that at North Carolina? I mean, like, probably, but my point is, like, if we could go back in time to the draft, like, Portland doesn't pass on him if they probably knew he was going to be that obsessive about every little thing the rest of his life. And I guess the point I'm trying to make with that is, like, I could see why Greg is making that point. Like, Caleb Williams has been like the guy at every single level, and here he is again. He's going to go number 1 overall, which has been one of his goals, but we probably don't know him enough yet. Like, he comes off the few times we've had a chance to talk to him, like Combine, then we went to his pro day, Kevin, like, he comes off as very, like, sort of nonchalant, like, just shrugs everything off, like nothing bothers me, but we don't know if internally it actually does. The way he reacted to this and tweeted about it, like, at one hand you could be like, stay off of Twitter. On the other hand, you could be like, oh, okay, so maybe he does have that in him a little bit.
Yeah, so I saw both sides of that from Bears fans yesterday. You know, I think the vast majority were extremely happy that he was taking shots at Greg, and by extension me. That's just part of the game, and we all understand the content game. But I also think there were some people, a small percentage, who were like, "Hey, just float above it." I saw, you know, some people say, "Don't give them the clicks" or whatever, and it was funny. But people were like, "Don't give Greg the clicks." Well, it's my show; I'm getting the clicks, so Caleb can go ahead and
the
do
clicks.
that.
Damn it!
Give me the clicks. No, I didn't do anything. But no, I can see both sides of it. I mean, Kevin Durant is extremely online. He is, if somebody says something about Durant, he's name searching, he's in the comments, and he's responding to it. Does that make him a worse player? No, he's one of the best players of his era. And there are other guys who don't necessarily chime in on stuff. I remember one time, I swear to God, I forget what it was. I made a joke and I just said, no great quarterback has ever had good hair, ever. And I was correct. They don't have good hair. And Mahomes was in my mentions with a GIF, and he was like, "Come on, man." And like that to me, like you just never. These guys are just sitting online, being like, "What's going on here?" And so I think that, especially as these guys get younger and younger and get more comfortable online, like I think this is going to be the norm. I don't think it's strange that he's on Twitter looking at this stuff. I don't know who would have sent him that. The clip actually hadn't gotten – there was a clip earlier in the day where McElroy was talking about Drake May and Jaden Daniels actually getting more traction before Caleb Williams found it. I have no idea how Caleb found this particular clip or if somebody sent it to him, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that that there was that he found it, that he responded to it. And I think that even though Greg didn't mean it to be, it could be read as personal, saying, hey, you haven't faced any adversity. And that's why I think, if I had to guess, and I spent 10 minutes with Caleb. He was on my show last summer going into his last year at USC, and I found him extremely professional. I mean, I know that as a college guy, that's a weird term, but like, I asked him about Mahomes, and he said he's just trying to be his own guy. He talked a lot about learning the preparation of the sport. And sort of, I said, what do you have to get better at? And he basically said his routine, which I thought was a pretty mature thing for a 20-year-old to say. But I'm not surprised that this is that he responded to this, because I think it's the norm for someone born in 2002. We're old.
That's right. Exactly.
It's crazy.
Well said.
Kevin, we appreciate you coming on and addressing this just the day after it came out. I do want to pivot real quick, though, before we let you go, because something at the end of your episode actually got my brain spinning even more, and I enjoyed the conversation. So when you were done talking to Greg, you sort of had this monologue at the end of your show about why the NFL needs to step in and help save college football. And you brought up about how the NBA really hasn't helped college basketball, and they're running out of stars. And like, it's just now there's more stars in the women's game, and that's why the ratings were so big. I thought it was an interesting discussion. I want to run an idea by you, okay? And I'm going to preface this by saying I came up with the idea while I was listening to your show this morning, so I haven't put that much thought into it. But in hockey, you can draft guys and hold on to their rights while they still actually play in college. And what if we hypothetically lived in a world where maybe guys are eligible for the draft after their freshman year or sophomore year? I don't know yet which one's better, but teams could still have the option to be like, we're going to let you play in college for another year or two, depending on what they actually need. And now we live in this world where, like, you could have somebody your team has already drafted playing for USC or playing for Iowa or whoever it is, and possibly, if we want to take it one step further, call them up at the end of the year when the college season ends. I think that would be one way where, hey, if we're going to pay these guys anyway, maybe start letting them get the NFL money after they've been drafted. And now, again, not a ton of thought on this, but what do you think about it?
It also could be the baseball model, which is that the draft happens essentially before the College World Series. And so when the catcher's up and it's like, well, he was taken in the fourth round by the Red Sox. So there's added context. I completely agree. I think there's a bunch of ways you could do it. I've always thought the best thing for college basketball would be the old baseball model, which I think has now been changed, where you either don't go to college or you have to stay 3 years. Because I think that's changed, and I think now it's just an age requirement. Baseball fans can correct me on this, but they've changed it a little bit. But I think that would be the best model, because it would keep kind of not lottery picks, but like the 20th pick in the draft would play 4 years or 3 years, and we would know who he is. I think the biggest thing, and I mentioned it in my monologue, is just like there's so many famous people. We know everything about Caleb Williams going into this draft. He's gone through so many big games. I can rattle off probably the 10 biggest games he played in. And that just doesn't happen with Scoot Henderson when he gets picked in the top 5. That just doesn't happen. I mean, the only reason Brandon Miller was so famous, frankly, was because of some of the legal situations last year, or the New York Times writing about it and all that stuff last year. So Wembanyama didn't even go to college. And so the NBA needs to figure out how to generate stars, and the NFL needs to protect its star-making vehicle. They have a free minor league right now. They've got to step in, because I really do think college football is going to unravel without some forces saying, let's fix this. What Caitlin Clark has done is incredible, and it's going to change the WNBA forever. I don't think the WNBA is going to become the NBA overnight. What I am saying is that when you have a star-making vehicle like the NCAA tournament, you need to use that to your advantage. And I think that the college football playoff, now that it's going to be expanded, all that stuff, I feel like the NFL needs to sit down with the networks, with the conferences, and say, this is how it's going to be, because we don't want it to become that the second overall pick is somebody nobody's ever heard of.
We got like 30 seconds. I know you got to go, but I'm giving an off-the-board question here. Where did the Kevin Clark motivation to get to where you've got to come from? Because you had, like, let's go, wildly successful career. This is a competitive business.
Sure.
Give me your deep dive on yourself. Go ahead.
I'll tell you a very quick story, okay? So the only job I've ever applied for that I didn't get was at the Boston Globe when I was an intern, okay? And I was so pissed at the editor of the Boston Globe, okay, and so the sports editor. And for years, I was like, I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him. I had a couple lucky breaks. Got to the Wall Street Journal when I was 23. I saw the guy's name in the Patriots press box, and I was like, all right, man, I'm going to do a little, tie, put the jacket on to show, hey, what's up, man? How you like me now? Said hey to the guy. Guy had no idea who I was. Didn't remember me at all. And I was like, that's it. I've been carrying around this motivation for 5 years, and this guy does not care about me at all. And from then on, I was like, you know what? Grudges, not that important. So there you go. I was pissed at a guy who just forgot that he turned me down.
That was your chip on your shoulder.
But you'll never forget him. That dude, whoever he is, deserves to go down right now. I hate him. I'll take him on.
He's a good guy. I don't know. For some reason, I decided to use that as my MJ, and I took that personally, and the guy had no idea I was pissed at him or even remembered that he turned me down.
There it is.
Kevin, you're the best. Thanks for jumping on. Everybody check out This Is Football. It's an outstanding show, and he gets bigger guests than any other show that's out there. So thanks so much, man.
Anytime, guys.
There he is, Kevin Clark.
Who's your guy? Who's your motivation?
So I've actually thought this out. If I ever write a book about my career, which I probably shouldn't because I don't think anybody would care to read it.
I'll read it.
But I already know how I'm going to start it because I got fired from my first job. It wasn't really a job, though, is the thing. I would have to rephrase as I got fired from my first journalism gig.
I mean, do I need to get the couch out or maybe a pillow or something?
How's that for a tease?
Are you going to go further or are you just going to...
I'm going to leave you hanging there while I tell you about Lucy as
That's
I try to
messed
stay
up.
on time here so I don't get fired from this gig. But then I'm going to pay off the tease.
Okay,
How
good.
about that?
That's great.
If you haven't heard of Lucy, check it out. Lucy Nicotine. It's made for your nicotine routine and delivered straight to your door. 100% pure nicotine. It's always tobacco-free. You can choose your form. They got plenty of different options, not only how you take it, but also the strength of it. So you the pouches, breakers, or there's gum. You can choose your strength, 2 megs, 12 megs. 2 milligrams is suited for someone who uses nicotine infrequently. You can go 4 to 8 milligrams, more likely to satisfy if you have an everyday nicotine routine, or 12 milligrams might be for you if you've been underwhelmed by the effects of other nicotine pouches. Check it out. They got flavors: mint, apple, ice, espresso, mango, and more. Save yourself from the weekly gas station stop. Sign up for a monthly subscription, which will help you save 15% off. There's no commitment. Cancel any time. And look, do we want to go through the customer reviews again?
We need to do whatever you need to do. I'm with you on what you're doing.
That one didn't really. Okay, because we got. It just depends on which way we want to go here. But these are real customer reviews, delicious and discreet.
Oh,
yes.
I know where you're going now.
These
Go
pouches
ahead. You should go there.
give me all day focus. So thankful for Lucy providing us a clean nicotine alternative. And then the person who really loved the berry citrus said it's juicy as heck. So much flavor being tossed around. It's like what?
The big O in the mouth? Is that what it is?
That's what it says. And again, thank you, Lucy. You so juicy.
Woof.
It's the best.
Yep, that's why I always say that our partners are just part of the show, and I'm really thrilled with our newest partner right there. Also thrilled.
Not done yet. Let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/CHGO Bears and use promo code CHGO Bears to get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co and use code CHGO Bears, 20% off. Always free shipping. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age. Every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Looking at the website right now, Next Level Nicotine, Shop Intelligent Nicotine. This is a great website. I'm into it. All right, I'm also into everybody who's become a diehard, and I'm encouraging you to do so as well. Go to allchgo.com. When you become a diehard, you get our diehard events, you get our diehard merch, you get our diehard lounge, you get our diehard content, you get our diehard happy hour. Which, by the way, we got to do that soon. Hoge. Never mind. I'll do it right here.
I was gonna say, I'll be in the Bears 100.
You'll be working on the Bears 100, which is also a part of the Die Hard content. Great way to support the show. Great way to get a discount on our merch. Great way to get to know, just a great Bears community. And we really, really appreciate all our diehards who I will be shouting out coming up later in the show. Become a diehard, live the dream, allchgo.com. And, of course, we've talked ad nauseum, and we'll continue to, about our draft party, which is coming up, which you get a great, when you do sign up to be a diehard, by the way, you get a T-shirt out of this gate. It's almost like, you're instantly almost paying it off. But the draft party, again, coming up 25th and 26th. 25th is sold out. 26th is not. 26th is going to be a ton of fun. Come on out on Friday and, make it a great Friday night. Let's celebrate Caleb and whatever they do at 9, and then let's celebrate a productive day 2, hopefully. So, Hoge, back to you and your motivations in life.
So,
who fired you?
St. Ignatius High School newspaper.
Ooh.
I got fired as a sports editor.
Have I ever told my getting fired from Highland Park High School?
No, but let's make this about you, me guy. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, I'm just
no,
teeing
go
up,
ahead.
I'm just teeing up. There's back-to-back great stories.
Yeah,
coming.
okay.
Mine's going to be better than yours, but go ahead.
It's it.
No.
Go ahead.
That's right, me guy. What was it? Caleb's what?
Caleb Cares Foundation.
CCAC. Carm cares about Carm. New.
That's your foundation.
New foundation.
You started a foundation.
Carm cares about
in
Carm.
which you care about yourself.
Yeah. Now back to your story.
And it actually is a charity.
Yeah.
You can donate if you'd like.
There's some people in life who have really powerful positions in life who have their own charity running. Never mind. I won't talk about that guy. You don't know who I'm talking about?
I don't.
He's got orange hair. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, regardless. That basically is a story. I honestly don't remember really why. I think it kind of had to do with maybe high school, politics, popularity, all that stupid stuff. I also had really bad senioritis when I was Ignatius, so maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, that was my chip on the shoulder.
They fired you from the school paper at St. Ignatius.
I got fired from the school paper at St. Ignatius, and that was it right there.
Is that an unpaid position?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, and you got fired anyway.
Exactly.
Wow.
Have I told this story, Stephen, about when I got fired from the Shoreline newspaper at Highland Park High School? Do you know that story?
I do not know that story.
You don't know that story? Great
No,
story.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There was a Highland Park High School newspaper. I was writing for it.
Okay.
And they wouldn't even let me write sports because, why would anybody let me do anything about sports?
The comments agree.
Yeah. And so I had English class too. And you had I swear I've told this story, but maybe I haven't. You had a floppy disk back in the day when I went to school.
Oh, the old floppy disk.
The old floppy disk. And there was a paper that you had to do for English class. And it was you had to interview somebody and, whatever. It was an interview paper thing. So I had not done my homework, and so I did a fake interview with one of the guys on the basketball team. And I wrote up some quotes from my
fake interview. You mean you just made it up?
I made up the quotes. Like Dave Allen, I talked about how he didn't like the high school basketball coach, that he's too tough on me and this and that, because this guy, the high school basketball coach, was an asshole.
While he was playing for him?
Yes, but this was just for class. This is for class. I'm doing this for class. This was not supposed to be in the paper. But my floppy disk was like...
Your what now?
My floppy disk was attached to the paper somehow. And so they thought this was a real article.
You got to be careful with
and they printed my article that I got an A on this paper. It was a great paper. Fake paper, but it was a great fake paper. And they printed it in the paper, the whole school paper. Dave Allen hates Colsey. And I'm like,
this is amazing.
And so I got fired from the paper. The class, I had an A on the paper. Guy gave me an F for cheating.
Yeah.
And Dave Allen wanted to kill me. But he was a really nice guy, so he didn't.
Boy, you really hit a home run on that one.
I mean,
I
wrote a great paper.
You plagiarized. You failed. You managed to piss off everyone in the school.
Yeah.
That's
lost my gig, and I took that personally because it was a great paper. And that jerk, Lapish or whoever it was,
Whatever happened to the floppy disk?
whatever happened to the floppy disk?
Can I actually do one?
Yes.
Please.
I've got one. I'm not going to name my former employer, but I had one that definitely motivated me, and that was I was working like 10-hour days for a job that I wasn't being paid for. I was being paid like one level below that, and I said, "Hey, can we turn these 1-hour meetings every morning into just a phone call like we used to do?" And I got yelled at by this lady saying that if I wanted to make it in this career, I would never be working 8-hour days, which is fair to some extent. However, she then followed up by saying, "What do you want to do with your career?" And I said, "Well, I want to be a producer." "What kind of producer?" "There's a bunch of different types of producers." I said, "Well, I want to be producing Chicago sports shows. That's my passion." And she told me if I wanted to produce Chicago sports shows and work 8 hours a day, it would never happen for me. Here I am today.
Take that.
Yeah.
Take that, person we don't know who he's talking about, but you're wrong.
Hey, listen. I mean, I got a poster board from the ceiling to the floor. People have told me that I suck.
Yeah.
And should be doing something else. CCAC for all time, Dr. Truth. Carm cares.
So, Steven, that's his grudge. Mine's getting fired from the high school paper for some reason I don't remember. And Carm committed fraud and plagiarism and gave himself his own grudge.
Because it was a great paper. Should not have taken that grade away from me. And I shouldn't have been fired. That was your own fault, editor. Should have double-checked with Carm. That's on you.
That is crazy that they got printed. I
You
still don't
idiot.
really understand the specifics of that. The floppy disk. They found it on the floppy disk.
Somehow that disc was connected to the school paper, and I have no idea.
Okay.
But I'm still bothered by it because I didn't deserve to get fired. That was crap.
You're right.
It was a great paper.
You committed
And by the way-
plagiarism,
and by the way-
claiming you shouldn't have been fired from a paper.
Yes, but how's this? The quotes that I put in there was the inner Dave Allen. That's exactly what he meant. Colsey sucked and should have been fired, and eventually he was.
Okay.
And I'm still pissed at Bartolai for cutting me in 7th grade. That guy's an idiot too. Now I feel way better.
This feels like it's been a therapeutic
I'll never let it
segment
go.
for you.
I'll never let it go.
Okay.
I played incredible. My 7th grade tryout, I was on fire, but I wasn't like in like all the other things, and they stuck it to me. But then I led the Iowa Hawkeye intramural team to the Elite Eight, and I bursted by Tim Dwight, and we went up 2-0. Lost 49-27.
If you'd like more on Carm's life and his career, come to London with us.
Yeah, come to
because, long flight over there.
Do we get to fly with people?
I don't know the specifics of that. The amount of questions I've been asked in the last 48 hours about this trip, and all I know is you put the deposit down, you go to truefantravel.com, you find that beautiful image that's in front of you right now if you're watching on YouTube. It says CHGO Road Trip London. You click on it. The deposit is fully refundable. It secures your spot. Once we have all the details, all the plans, then you can pick and choose. You can basically make your own package from that point on. Because I've had a lot of, we know we have a lot of people that live in Europe that watch this show, and they don't need a flight. Well, you don't have to have a flight. You're just securing your spot with us, and good for you if you live in Europe and you don't have to take the flight, because you don't have to be stuck on the plane with Carm for 8 hours over there and hear about, his high school life.
Do you get weird emails like "Welcome to Shaba Thai Massage"?
No.
I'm getting these all the time.
No, I don't.
I'm getting all these things like, "Thank you for signing
Which
up for
reminds
this."
me of another story you told me about your life
Yeah.
that definitely won't be
Thank you for
fair.
signing up for this massage. I didn't sign up for this massage. Why? I have not.
I do get plenty emails from like.
I have not Shabbatide. All right, can we get back on track? Can we do Dallas Turner? I'm sorry.
No, we can't yet because I got to pay off the Caleb Williams stuff. I do get emails, though, from places I've unsubscribed from like 3 years ago, and then you just start getting them again. It's like, I guess the statute of limitations is gone, so now we can just put you back on our mailing list without you asking. That part's obnoxious.
That is
nah,
obnoxious.
I unsubscribed. I don't need to. I never resubscribed. Get out of here.
Thank you for choosing Shaba Thai Massage for your relaxation needs. We are excited to have you as a customer and can't wait to provide you with the best Thai massage experience. I haven't chosen you.
Okay.
But I mean, I might choose you. Looks interesting. Now, go ahead, Hoge.
Caleb Williams. Did you know this is actually this is a good, fun fact. I think I knew this and forgot this, but that's why Dane Brugler exists in the Beast as we go back to our first segment. We bounce around a little bit today. Caleb Williams did not throw an interception on 3rd or 4th down at USC. 199 passing attempts, 3rd and 4th down, never threw an interception.
That's strange to me.
Because it's so remarkable?
Well, shockingly, I'll do a slightly contrarian thing here because on 3rd and 4th down when they have to have it, I don't mind him forcing it at times.
Right.
You know,
a lot of times you just throw the ball deep because it's like, if they pick it off, it's an interception, punt, who cares?
Right. So to me, it's almost it's better to have a pick on 3rd and 4th versus 1st and 2nd. But whatever. It's not like he threw a ton of interceptions.
No, I mean, his turnover problems are fumbling, and the fumbling is a real concern. Dane talks about that in the Beast too, and he's going to have to fix that. But to not throw an interception on 3rd or 4th down in 199 passing attempts is something very, very impressive. Another fun fact that's definitely worth pointing out and reiterating for anybody that claims this guy for not winning enough, or criticizes him for not winning enough. His 8 losses that he experienced at USC, 8 losses, the defense gave up at least 34 points in all those games. All 8 losses, gave up at least 34, averaged 43 points per game allowed. That was the average. And he's got a lot of games where it's like, dude did everything he possibly could and then lost. So if there's one thing I never want to hear about, it's about he doesn't win enough or anything like that. And then finally, we had this quote from a scout that provided an anonymous NFL scout said this to Dane Brugler, which he put in the Beast. Quote, he wants to be the Jay-Z of the NFL and a true entrepreneur. And that's great as long as he's winning on the field.
Does that concern you?
No, I think we know that.
Right.
His Twitter profile literally said, I'm a business man.
Right.
You got to win. That applies to anything, though. Like, whatever somebody's fault is, and that's not even a fault. It's not even fair to call it that, but whatever the concern is.
This dude is not lacking any confidence.
No.
And any work ethic or any intelligence. I mean, I don't want to make, it too steep for him or whatever, set things too high. But, I mean, he's already doing that. Guy's coming in as the consensus number 1 overall pick into a great situation that the Bears hopefully will add on to at 9. I know tomorrow we're going to do another deep dive on the 9 spot and, what would be sort of the Bears' worst-case scenario, which I'm looking forward to having that conversation. But even in that scenario, it's still a good scenario. They're going to get a really good player if they stick at 9. But and maybe they'll get this player. Is that the transitions you're pointing at?
If you want it to be. Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Look at you.
Well, so there we go.
Caught you off guard.
So today's dive is 5 things about Dallas Turner, the stud coming out of Alabama. There's a ton here, so there's a lot of, for those watching on YouTube, there's a lot of stuff on the screen. I was reading about him in high school where he transferred his junior into his senior year to try to continue to, move himself up the football ladder. But he set lofty goals. I'm not hoping to blend in. I'm hoping to stand out. I never want to stay the same. I just want to continue to get better. That's what he said when he was transferring to St. Thomas Aquinas High School. I mean, this is a guy that's been just, Mamba mentality, all the things that you want to see from somebody as far as where they're trying to get to in life. He's got it. His reputation, number 2, is, quote, being very dedicated and super disciplined. One of his coaches in high school is a name by the name Cornelius Green, who you might remember. He started at the U. So he worked with a lot of big-time guys in high school, including Jason Taylor, who coached the defense at St. Thomas Aquinas. So, this guy is, your top 5 people in your life have a huge impact on where you get to. He's had some very powerful people around him. Number 3 I put in there, the dude he's 6'4", long, athletic frame, and that you combine that with, quote, an elite motor that never turns off. That was the work from Dane Brugler in The Beast. So you're talking about a supremely athletic guy who works at it and is grindy, which is a phenomenal combination. And to also people around him, at Bama, he became best friends with Will Anderson, who do you want to associate yourself with? I don't know. The dude that came into the NFL last year and was absolutely phenomenal. I thought that was just a nice, interesting note. And then you go into his bloodlines. He comes from his dad, half of his bloodline, from his dad, Delon, who had a 12-year professional basketball career overseas. Dick Vitale gave his dad the nickname Baby Barkley. And reading about his dad, Dallas asked his dad about what he got his degree in, and he went to FAMU, smaller school, and he's like, oh, I didn't get my degree. So he went back as he's running a business. The dude owns Quiznos and Foot Lockers and all these things without a degree, went back and got his degree. So it's just, I thought it was interesting when you just outline where he's coming from and the motivation and the skill set. This is an elite athlete with a high motor and has had a tremendous career to this point, which is why he is considered the number 1 edge rusher in the draft.
You're in on Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner team.
I like Dallas Turner.
I like him more now.
I do. Remember, we talked about him last week, and I had moved him down a little bit because I still wonder about the fit with the Bears. But
that's what Eagle and Lion is throwing out there. You really?
Well, he's not a prototypical hand-on-the-ground 4-3 defensive end. And he's not particularly built, like, huge either.
He's more long.
So,
long athletic. But he sets the edge. You get an edge setter. You don't buy it?
No, I don't know that he's the prototypical guy that Matt Eberflus wants in the defense.
Okay.
There's a difference between me doubting his talent and doubting whether or not he's a perfect fit for the Bears. Those are two different things. And I think that's why I would if I had to put my money down, which is a real thing you can actually do, I'm betting on some of these draft picks. I view Jared Verse as more likely to be a Bear than Dallas Turner, but I could be wrong because they've done their homework on Dallas Turner. I know that.
So, speaking of putting your money down, Hoge, if you were to put your money down right now on who the Bears will draft after Caleb Williams, the next player they take,
I'm not answering that.
You're not answering
I will
it?
give you that on either Wednesday or Thursday or draft week because last year, who was the name I gave you?
I think you said Darnell Wright.
Yes. And that information.
It's all bow down. Steven? Bow down.
Thank you. Stephen Bow.
We bowing. I'm bowing too.
Yeah.
Full bow. That's a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the only time I've ever done that, but,
No. Don't.
Now I set the expectations. Now I got to get it right again this year.
You will get it right. I expect you to get it right. I demand that you get it right. You will get it right.
Not to cop out, but I will give you, as of today, as of April 10th, I would say the most likely scenario is they trade back. Can that be an answer?
Yes, I don't agree, but it can be an answer.
Well, you didn't ask. I'm sorry. What answer can I give you that you agree with?
You could say Roma Dunze.
Okay, I will answer your own question. I say Roma Dunze.
Well, it just seems to me on the trade.
If you had to put your money down on one guy, what are they going to do?
Oh, yeah.
I don't agree with you.
Well, I just wanted. Hey, listen, it's a conversation.
Okay.
I just think that who's coming up to 9? If 4 quarterbacks are going in the top 6, that's why I disagree. But maybe you'll be right.
Well, maybe they're coming up from Roma Dunze.
Yeah. I don't think they are. I
Oh.
think they're picking at 9, baby.
All right, let's get to super chats, and we got shout-outs, and we got Carm's got to thank our diehards again. Kenny B here, $4.99, says, if the Bears take a wide receiver at 9 and Newton falls to the second round, if you're Poles, do you trade future capital for that 3 technique? And if so, How much? That'll be an interesting question because it wouldn't completely shock me. He's talking about Jerzon Newton. I don't know if he's going by Johnny or Jerzon.
Johnny
It's
Newton.
Johnny now.
I think it's Johnny too. Maybe the Beast will tell us the answer. It wouldn't shock me if he falls because I think teams are worried about this foot thing. I wouldn't shock me if the Bears are worried about it too. So, but at what point do you say, oh, well, for late second round, maybe we move up a little bit to get him because if I'm not worried about a foot, though, I'm not using any future draft capital to grab a guy. If he falls all the way to my pick, if we're talking third round, then maybe you take that chance. But it's an interesting – I like the question, Kenny, because it's valid.
Right. The problem is that, they've got 4 picks, and then you got to dip into next year's capital, and then if you start doing that, then you're going to have less picks next. Just at some point you're going to have to take your medicine. But if they really love him, I guess you would do it.
They do have extra picks next year at least. But
Yeah,
I do agree
they've
with your point. They're really lacking draft capital right now.
Right.
And by the way, he is listed as just Johnny Newton in the Beast. So that's what we're going with. Johnny. And Dane has him as a first or second round pick, number 28 overall.
Okay.
And since we're on the topic, Dallas Turner is his number
15.
Number 1 overall guy. I know, but I was just gonna see if he has anything in there about scheme.
Take your time.
Well, no, we have have time. We have 2 more weeks, so we can dive more into Dallas Turner. But I think it's an interesting discussion.
Yep.
Let's go to Trevor Lamarche. Hope I'm saying that right. $5.
Thank you, Trevor.
In Caleb's second season, is he the best quarterback in the North? I like how he went second season at least.
Yeah. Let's hope so, Trevor. But we all know that the guy up north that wears the green and gold looks legit. So, I think he can be. I think
it's possible.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
We also weren't saying that about Jordan Love at midseason last year. Could he have just gotten a hot streak and we're reacting to a recency bias here?
I mean, he looked great week 1 against the Bears, and then he kind of went back down to okay, this is – and then he played really well the rest of the year, and then he finished it off against the Bears again. Not that we have to relive all that, but he left no doubt.
I didn't want to say it week 1, but I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, it was exhausting.
And he's all poised back there and just flicking it around. Okay.
And our guy Nuke coming in again, Matt Nuku, $4.99. As always, love the show today, guys. Happy Wednesday.
Nuku, you the man.
Happy Wednesday to you as well. All right, shout-outs. Where we go off the board a little bit, which we've already done a little bit today. I would like to remind everybody about something. So first of all, you guys know I love golf. And I love the Masters, so I'm excited about the Masters this week. I still got to do a little bit more homework on who I'm definitely going to play some bets though, and I got and maybe I'll tweet a little bit later. I got to do a little more homework before I decide who I want. But I want to remind everybody about something that went viral last year, and I honestly had not seen this until last year, and it's partially why I'm excited again for this week. I think we talked about it on the show last year, so you might remember this. But there's a radio host in Memphis named Chris Vernon, the Chris Vernon Show.
Sure.
And his show does these amazing Masters updates on the Thursday and Friday of the Masters while his show's going on to entertain their audience. You may remember this, and if not, look forward to it this week. Here it is.
And that's what's going on at Augusta. Woo! Screw your Peloton! Screw your Peloton! Screw your Peloton! Shane Lowry ain't riding a bike. Nope. Yo, we drinking a pint. And that's what's going on at Augusta. It's going on at Augusta.
Dude.
Oh, God.
Do you remember that?
I do.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It goes on for like 4 minutes. They just off the cuff go through the leaderboard in that moment, and just like almost. I mean, I guess you would sort of call that freestyle to the leaderboard.
Can we steal that and do that? Is that legal?
I mean,
If people are stealing your songs, you might as well.
That's right.
I'm not. There's no way I could do that. I'm not
could
even gonna try to steal it.
You can do it. I can do it. Let's go.
You don't know enough about the golfers.
I will make that up.
Well, we learned early in this show. You will make it up. Yeah, you will.
You know, there's another guy out there who does the Jim Nance. Have you ever seen him? He does the voice perfectly. And
Is his name Jim Nance?
I'll send this one to you. I can't do it off the. I forget his thing, but every year he does like, Hello Friends, and like does a whole master thing. It's pretty. It's excellent. But I think we should steal that. That's really good stuff.
We're not stealing it from Chris Vernon's show. I think he also does the NBA show for the Ringer. Yeah, the NBA podcast co-host for the Ringer, and Chris Vernon's show in Memphis. So I promise you, if you watch that whole video, it's probably even better than the snippet we sent. You know, we showed you there. So look for that in the next couple days. I know I will, and I'll be watching a lot of golf. I promise I'll still pay enough attention to the show tomorrow, but that will be going on at Augusta.
Well, we get the full show back. Oh, we don't have the full show back. We got Greg back tomorrow. Nick's on vacation, so we need you to be paying attention. All right, my shout out.
Tony Finau, who he be now?
There exactly. I mean,
So
that's. We see. I could do that. I could rhyme. Finau.
Okay, let me give you a name right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth. Free speech. Jordan Spieth. That was terrible, but I think it was actually kind of brilliant.
Do it.
I'll work on it.
That was
in the next 24 hours. I'll have it down. All right. Can I give my shout out because that was embarrassing?
Yeah, it was.
Shout out
Wyndham Clark.
My William. I do it for Diehards
Not
every
William.
day.
Wyndham. Wyndham Clark. You got a hotel chain there you can go. You can go Clark and Addison, Wrigley Field.
Give me W, give me the win, give me W, Wyndham, give me that 9-iron Wyndham, give me that backspin Wyndham, get it on the green, Wyndham Clark. All right. Shout out to...
I hate this show.
Yeah, this is a terrible show. I'd like to shout out my guy, Torrey Craig. Speaking of terrible.
Oh, my God.
I wore CHGO Bulls today for you, Torrey. That was so unbelievably phenomenal. Down 10 in the second quarter on a team, trying to have some level of respect, getting into the play-in tournament, and trying to hold home court with the Hawks.
You and I disagree on this one.
Oh, it was amazing. Left-handed alley-oop off the backboard to try to throw down the two-hander to give some energy to the UC, who only goes crazy for Benny the Bull. That was amazing. That was truly amazing. I've never seen anything like that. And then Andre Drummond coming in there because he thought it was for him. I mean, I've been saying for a while now that the NBA, every game is turning into an all-star game. And that was it. It was the NBA all-star game last night. Craig, off the pines, off the injured list, to himself, oh no, didn't work out. Billy Donovan calling timeout. What the F are you guys doing? I'm leaving for Kentucky tomorrow. That was...
If you missed it, you got to look this up. I think we have the clip on our at CHGO_sports, probably at CHGO_bulls as well. I'm sure the guys had it covered last night.
I know I saw it on our Instagram page.
How about Adam Amin off the top rope? If nothing else will sum up this year's Bulls, that was it.
He said that?
Yes.
Oh, good for Adam. Yeah, look, man, you just at some point you got to own it. That was unbelievable. To throw an alley-oop to yourself and have it intercepted, not even intercepted, just broken up like a corner coming over the top, probably pass interference on the play.
It really was.
Breaking it up. No one gets done. No one. And then on top of it, Drummond goes down the other end of the court, and I don't know if his Achilles blew out or what happened, but
dude,
it looked horrible. And then he just gets hurt, and it's like, oh my God, what in the world?
I was at the United Center last night watching it on TV underneath in like the media lounge, and I'm like, did they just bring a wheelchair out for Andre Drummond? So I was like peeking out the hallway, and here comes Drummond being wheeled down. He's not looking up. He was in misery. I'm like, this is unbelievable as to.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the Bulls have and then Stacey King to El Sancho's chat has called it Shaq did a fool. He jumped right into that. Phenomenal job by the broadcast crew.
They're the best. And look, this is what you and I disagreed on, though, because you have an issue with him even trying the alley-oop. I'm looking at it like, what the hell do they have to lose? They're not doing anything. This playing thing, okay, fine. He said after the game, they're down 10. He's trying to get the crowd into the game. It would have been cool if Andre Drummond didn't break up the pass.
The crowd will get into the game when they put noise on the big board and Benny the Bull throws popcorn on somebody. You're not getting the crowd into the game.
Okay. I wasn't insulted by the attempt as much as I was just amused by it being just a classic Bulls moment. And like Adam said, just a great way to sum up the season.
Shout out Torrey Craig. That's my shout out.
Let's pray the Bears are out of that, like where Bears are gonna Bears type thing.
I mean, that was
the White Sox are soxing right now. Moncada, the latest player to just get drastically hurt running to first base.
Who was the dude that got his first ever sack in a blowout that jumped up and blew
Lamar
out?
Houston.
Lamar Houston.
They're getting crushed by the Patriots to the point that Jimmy Garoppolo, the backup quarterback's in for Tom Brady. He sacks him, he celebrates, and he tears his ACL.
That was similar to what the Bulls just did.
That was a Bears being Bears moment. But let's hope that they're past that. It was a long time ago. Mark Trestman was the head coach.
Oh, that's so deep in the Bears' rearview mirror, but it's right there for the Bulls last night. I would think that Craig just right up to the hoop, lay it off the board to Drummond. Yeah. I mean, that would have been insane too. But he just added in a very, very high degree of difficulty that this Bulls team was not able to.
By the way, according to our partner at Circa, odds to win the Masters, Scotty Scheffler plus 485. That's not a surprise. Rory plus 1,200. Roy McElroy. And I personally would love to see that if it did happen. And then John Rahm's plus 1,390. I mean, I know everyone's kind of down on John right now because he left for Live and he's, really.
Didn't he win last year?
Yes.
Yeah, so he could repeat.
And that's my point. And I know he hasn't. The people are like, oh, he hasn't played as much competitive golf this year. I don't know. I mean, Brooks Koepka, wasn't that last year he showed up and I think that was.
It was a different tournament. Yeah, he was.
No, that was the Masters. Didn't John Rahm beat Koepka on Sunday? I think is what happened. And
you might be right.
But Koepka was there, and everyone was like, "Oh, Koepka's not going to compete. He went for Live." So plus 1,390 for John Rahm's probably pretty good.
I think Koepka had just won some Live tournament prior to that last year.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Big Drive Energy is our All-City Golf podcast, and they have a full Masters preview that's out. I retweeted it earlier today if you want to check that out for anybody interested in the golf. Meanwhile, Carm, you need to thank our diehards.
Yes, I do. We start with our guy, John. King John, Big John, Johnny Jump Shot, Johnny Smoke a Fatty, Johnny Biblical, John Rahm, John. So many Johns, so little time. We love you, John.
Worse than your Wyndham Clark ride.
No, John's the man.
You just said his name over and over again.
I love John. John's a dude. John's our guy. John, not Jon. John. Phil, the Zen Master, is here, and we needed him. This is a man that not only sees the future, but he is your future. And Phil is part of the diehard future and the diehard present. Phil, thank you. We needed you, and you're here. Finally, we love you, Phil. HD, high def, high density, high dog, high
dog.
Dogs are the best animals. HD probably has a dog. HD's the man. HD coming in. The nickname that kills, HD, my guy.
Okay.
And Jared, spelled in a unique way, Jarrid.
He went to Jared?
He might have gone to Jared. He might have gotten everything you get at Jared, but Jared doesn't have to get anything because Jared is everything. Jared is a guy that shows up for lunch, he shows up for breakfast, and for dinner, and he gets you a snack. He's there throughout the day. He's there at night. He's there in the morning. He's Jared. He's my guy. and he's a part of the Die Hard family. Thank you, Jared. Happy to have you.
You can become a diehard, allchgo.com/diehard. You get 20% off our merch, 20% off our events, like the draft party. Thursday night is sold out. Friday, tickets are still available. Come join us. We're going to have a great time. Dalton and the Sheriffs playing afterwards on Friday night.
Are they selling fast now on Friday?
It's all presented by Circa and Casa Azul.
I'm very excited for Friday.
And we got 2 signed jerseys to show right over your shoulder there, Hoge.
That's right. This is, I think we're going to actually just switch shots.
Oh,
there.
wow. Look at that.
Friday night, courtesy of Collector's Cave, we have 2 Jervon Dexter senior jerseys that are signed right here. I feel like I'm Vanna White right now.
Doing a good job.
Give me a 99. Dude, I could do that job.
Would you trade your gig for Vanna White's gig?
1,000%.
Just sit there and smile and touch the number and partner with Pat.
For the last 20 years, she hasn't even had to do the cardiovascular movement
she used to have to turn it.
Of turning the thing. Now she just touches the screen, which doesn't actually do anything. It's just...
I got to say, we can't replace Vanna with you. That's not a good look for
well, they
Fortune.
wouldn't be as popular. I know, but
that would be you. They literally.
That wasn't the question. The question was, if they offered you the job, would you take it? Yes, I would. I would like to make a lot more money to record. Don't they only work like 3 months out of the year? Because they record a bunch of those all at the same time, and then they just air them. And then they get to go to Hawaii. And
Sajak is the GOAT. The guy's straight the GOAT.
White Sox fan. He used to be sitting there at Sox games.
I've never seen Pat Sajak in my life in person, but if I did, I'd go straight hug. I just want to
just hug him.
I just want to touch the guy.
Real quick on those 2 Jervon Dexter jerseys there. We're going to be giving those out on day 2.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I said that.
Did
Friday
you?
night. Yeah.
All right, I was distracted.
Yeah,
no, my bad.
No, good point, Steven. Just to be clear, those are Friday night giveaways. So if you already bought tickets to Thursday, well, obviously there's plenty of reason to be there Thursday, but Friday night, those are when we are doing the jerseys. All right, Seth, we had a couple more super chats trickle in here. Seth Crane, $20. Hoge, Brugler mentions Turner has experience in a hybrid 3-4, both the 2-point and 3-point stances. Doesn't mention anything about not being a good 4-3 scheme fit. Was a good run defender, though, according to him. And then hands down, super chat $4.99 coming in. Hump day with CHGO. Let's effing go. Finish the week strong. I'm gonna go with strong. My guys, and as always, bear effing down.
Hands down's the man. Hands down's the best. Thank you, hands down.
Appreciate you, dude. All right. I think we're done. Here.
Shout out to Crystals on the way in here, on the way out. Shout out to Gary, who's been breaking news all the morning long as Caleb's number decision creeps closer and closer. But zigs and zags, who knows what it's going to be? What number will Caleb wear when he's a Bear on his way to 7 Super Bowls? That's right. I said 7, Hope.
Which number is going to get retired?
Which number's going to get retired? That's right.
Hopefully.
At brand new Soldier Field on the lakefront.
Yeah.
Let's go, Kevin.
All right. We got more planned for you tomorrow. Greg Bragg supposedly back.
We're going to roll out the red carpet for Braggsy.
Yeah.
We're going to polish his chair. We're gonna do everything we can to welcome back our runner-up. One of the best runner-ups of all time.
He's a great runner-up.
He's a great runner-up.
He
gave it his all. No shame in the game. Great runner-up.
He got UConned.
He got UConn.
You don't want to get UConned.
Everybody else has been getting UConn. Braggs is no different. Guy gave it his all.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Should be a fun show. We'll talk to you then.
Runner-up.
We all silly like the mayor.